Please welcome Michael Kitching.
Hello, hello, hello. How are y'all today? Come on, you can do better than that now. Come on, you've had a few more. You had a few drinks. You had a few more over the intermission. I'll try again. Hello, hello. How are you today? Fantastic. Now, I'm a biologist, biotechnologist, though not a sports scientist, so I can't actually answer your question on the benefits of dildos and rectums during exercise. I'm sorry. But I did have a difficult time trying to think of a topic for today's routine, because I've had such a broad research career to date. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop. I just don't know what to pick. I want to pick everything. So I was thinking of nanotechnology, but it would be a small act. Prostate cancer. I can't really make jokes on prostate cancer. I'm not an ass, though I can't put my finger on why. Bovine mastitis, which is inflammation of the cow mammary gland. I thought that would be utterly ridiculous. I'd make a bit of a tit of myself on stage. I make no apologies for the milking of any puns in this show. I think you've heard them all before. Just be glad I couldn't think of anything involving PSA, because you bet your bottom dollar I would have used a PSA pun in this show. So I am a biotechnologist. I graduated from Dublin City University. Do we have any DCU graduates or students in the audience? Yeah, one. I was hoping for more. Let's go. I'll try not to let the side down. So I decided on biotechnology as my topic of choice. And before I begin, because with the release of the new upcoming Jurassic World, people are asking me, is it possible? And no, it's not possible yet. Give me a few years. I'll have my Chris Pratt steamed Raptor pack for research purposes now, of course. So, just to define biotechnology, it's the exploitation of biological processes for industry or other applications, which is a fancy way of saying we take advantage of biology to produce medical products such as antibiotics or antibodies or insulin, or alcohol, other foodstuffs like cheese or wastewater, to clean up the environment. So, and we usually like to use bacteria because they're very cheap and easy to grow, unlike those feckin' prima donna mammalian cells, which need constant babying, and you get F all out of them at the end. They truly are the Kim Kardashians of the biotechnology world, whoever the hell that is. So bacteria, they're very easily to manipulate genetically. We can add in genes, and we don't have to worry too much about the ethics about experimenting with bacteria, unless you're dealing or trying to create some sort of super plague to doom humanity. By the way, Brian, how's that research coming? Run. just take one step aside from. So, one particular area that I find most interesting in my work, or in biotechnology, and I think it's an area that most people here will be interested in, is brewing. Yay. And one of the reasons I'm interested in it is because I used to live in Middleton in County Cork for 2 years, which is a beautiful city. I would really recommend you go to it. It's fantastic. And just by pure coincidence, it's also home of the Jameson Distillery. But though I had to balance it out, I had to work in Fermoy, which is just an absolute void of sadness and dread. And is anyone actually here from Fermoy? I should have asked that first, sorry. So in brewing, we use yeast. And they are able to do something pretty nifty. They can take the sugars and proteins that we extract from the wheat and barley and undergo and use it in a process known as fermentation. They break it down to extract a little bit of energy, and they produce ethanol, alcohol. So we take that and then we can bottle it and undergo secondary fermentation, where we get that nice fizz from the CO2, or we can then put it into a cask, age it for 4 years, which is the legal requirement for whiskey, and in particular, Jameson ages it for 4 years in American bourbon casks. And which is great, because then after 4 years we can take it, we can put it into our glass and buy it and enjoy a nice night out, or we can have a bit of poaching and go blind. So another area of fermentation that's quite interesting is biofuels, in particular bioethanol. In Brazil, they've started to use bioethanol by the fermentation of sugarcane. They can basically produce ethanol from the fermentation of the sugarcane, and which I wouldn't recommend drinking, because it's a good bit stronger and it doesn't taste as nice. Trust me, I'm an expert. An expert scientist. What were you thinking? That was probably safer than poaching. So another area that I'm also interested in is wastewater. So basically, when we flush our toilet and put whatever we put down in there, it goes to the local wastewater treatment plant, which is basically a series of bioreactors and settling tanks. And in those bioreactors, the bacteria take the organic matter, a fancy word for poo, and they break it down so that water is safe to release into the environment. And what's really interesting about these wastewater communities is that these bacteria are found in a form known as a biofilm. So if you ever want to know what a biofilm is, just a little bit of audience participation. Lick your teeth. Just lick your teeth at the moment, right? Now, if you can feel a slimy layer, first of all, brush your teeth. And that slimy layer is actually the first biofilm we've ever discovered. It's a community of bacteria adhere to a surface that they produce their own slime that helps them attach to either a surface or themselves. Now, in wastewater, they attach themselves, known as bacterial floc. And in those biofilms, they're basically a bacterial city. So in those bacterial cities, and in any city, there's crime. So like in Dublin, there's crime, in Cork, there's crime, in Milan, there's crime everywhere. And especially in biofilms and bacterial communities. So, but it's a little bit different in bacterial communities, because they rob each other for each other's genes. So they'll kill each other to rob their genes, so they'll go grave digging essentially and rob genes from dead bacteria in order to confer an advantage. So they'll steal a gene for antibiotic resistance or to break down a new substrate. And so that's something we can't do. I can't rob your blue eyes, for example. Well, I could rob your blue eyes, but that's murder. I can't actually rob your genes and insert them into my genome. So, on that note, I'd just like to thank my comedian coach, Brian Maxwell, who's helped to prepare my routine. So if you didn't like any of the jokes in my routine, just there he is right there. Get him. And I'd also like to thank my mum, who's also in the audience. It's actually her birthday this month. I believe she's going 40 again. So if you can all join me just by saying happy birthday, ma'am. Thank you. You've been brilliant.
Michael Kitching, everyone.